Welcome to Dog Tales. You see, I don't know if you can see it, but Millie, this is Millie. This is my dog Millie. Actually, she's kind of like my daughter. And she's got a tail and it's wagging. But there's a different kind of tail. It's Millie's kind of tail is spelled T-A-I-L, but the other kind of tail is spelled T-A-L-E, and that means story. So these are, this is a program of stories about dogs told to a dog, and the dog's name is Millie, and she's over here. And you'll learn about this later in the program, but we would love it if anybody, any of you kids who are out there, want to come to the studio and read stories either to Millie or make up a story and make the story about your dog and read it to your dog. You could even bring your dog in here too. We'll work on that as time goes on. But meanwhile, I want to give you an idea of what we're doing in the program. Some of you may have seen some of our earlier programs. This is our third. Now, in the earlier programs, I went to the Howe Library in Hanover, and I borrowed books each time about dogs, and I read them to Millie. This time I thought I'd try something else, and it's something that you might want to do, I don't know. I wrote a story. This is a story about Millie, and it's, well, you figure it out. You decide whether it's a true story or not. I think there's a lot in this that really is true, but you decide. And the name of the story is, and this is the story here, I'll read it as we go. The name of the story is In Which Millie, an ordinary black Labradoodle, that's the kind of dog she is, plays tennis. Tennis, can you imagine tennis? So Millie said, I love to play tennis, said Millie. Well, that's ridiculous, I said. Dogs can't possibly play tennis. Well, I can, said Millie. Well, I could see that we had a misunderstanding. Now, how exactly do you play tennis? I asked. Well, it's simple, she said. Well, you throw the tennis ball, Dad. She calls me Dad. I'm her dad, yes. I catch it and then spend the rest of the afternoon chomping on it. Chomping on it? Okay. Well, yes, certainly we did have a misunderstanding, a bad one. To clear things up, I shall now tell you everything I know about this, the full and honest story. When Millie was a baby, no one would have guessed that there was anything special about her. I mean, she was tiny, black, and furry. She slept a lot, played mostly by chasing leaves in the warm months and snowflakes in winter. She was a happy, fun-loving dog and led a good life with her parents, my wife Mary and myself. And I'm Captain Bob. We adopted her when she was only 8 weeks old. Well, Millie, as she grew up, never got into fights with other dogs and never bit anyone, dog or person, except once when she was very young. I don't know if you remember this, Millie, and had very, very sharp teeth. In a silly mood, but meaning no harm, she chomped on a friend's finger, drawing blood. Well, the woman was rushed to the hospital, where she received 2 stitches. Millie immediately apologized. It was an embarrassing moment, even more so as she grew older and thought about it. As a result, she pledged to devote her entire life to peace and love. The woman forgave her right away, but the memory stayed with poor Millie. She never forgave herself. And so Millie grew up to be a peacemaker. When other dogs got into fights, Millie stood back and, barking calmly, tried to convince them to make friends and play a fast game of chase with each other instead. That usually worked, especially when Millie was there to help them deal with any other problems that might come up. Most dogs respected Millie and always did the right thing when they knew that she was watching. Although frankly, not so much when she left the scene. In any case, it was clear that she was a very fair-minded animal and an excellent influence on everyone around her. Isn't that so, Millie? But it's hard to say exactly why. She was just that kind of a dog, and you can see it, the way she's sitting. She's a very, very decent dog. Millie, by the way, especially loved children, human children as well as dog children. She liked to bark merrily and play "You Can't Catch Me" with them. The children could tell right away that she was a very clever dog and were never afraid of her. Their mothers and fathers trusted her too. But Millie, like everyone else, had her problems that she did not like to talk about. One of these was particularly disturbing to tennis players in Hanover, New Hampshire. People whispered that Millie was in the habit of stealing tennis balls. Not such a bad thing, you say. Well, maybe not, but it bothered people and made her something less than a perfect dog in their eyes. Well, this upset her. "I do not steal tennis balls," she explained more than once. "I am a good dog, a perfect dog." "Then why is it said that you steal tennis balls?" I asked. "It is a misunderstanding," she said. "Please explain," I said. "You can't steal what's yours," she explained. "It's very simple. Any dog can tell you that. Dogs understand these things, but people, to tell the truth, have oatmeal for brains. You have to explain things over and over to them." "You argue like a lawyer," I said. "What's a lawyer?" Millie asked. "A lawyer is someone who goes to college to study arguing. Some want to be a lawyer to get rich and famous, but most do so to make the world a fairer place." "Wow," Millie said. "Perfect. I want to be a lawyer so that people will be fair to me, and then the world will be a fairer place. Send me to law school, Dad, please." "Nonsense," I said. "Dogs can't be lawyers. Only people can be lawyers." "That is unfair," Millie barked. "Okay," she growled, her head hanging low. "I don't need you or Mom. I will go to law school anyway, on my own." That night, when Mary, my wife, and I were sound asleep, Millie slipped out of the house and ran all the way to the Vermont Law School, where she remained for 3 years. She sent us an email soon after she left, in which she explained what she had done and assured us that she would be back as soon as she learned enough about the law to defend herself. Every week after that, we received an email from her letting us know that she was happy, in good health, had many dog and people friends, and was learning a lot. You can see from the way Millie is listening that she remembers all this. It's amazing. One evening, we heard a scratching at the front door. We opened it, and there was Millie, a diploma in her teeth and a square black hat perched on her head with a red ribbon hanging down from it. "I am now a lawyer," she explained. "America's first dog to become one." "Congratulations, Mary," and I shouted joyously. We were so happy to see her. We treated her to her favorite dog crunchies with a beef bone on top, plus a big bowl of water. She gobbled down the dog food and gulped down the water, smacking her lips when she finished. She then proceeded to chomp on the bone. We had lots of questions, but Millie had a long day and was tired. She stretched yawned, curled up on the sofa, and fell fast asleep, sort of like the way she looks now. But her eyes are open, and her ear is kind of pointed in my direction, and she's listening to every word. And I'm sure she remembers all of this. Anyway, before breakfast the next morning, Millie and I took a walk in the park across the way. I brought along a tennis ball. When we reached the grassy area, I tossed the ball as high as I could. Millie ran after it, leaped up, and caught it on the first bounce. She then took it to her favorite spot under an old oak tree and proceeded to chomp on it. Just then, a big German shepherd ran up to her. He was wearing a badge on his collar. "Where did you get that tennis ball?" he asked in a gruff growl. "My dad, Captain Bob, threw it to me." "Are you Millie, the famous tennis ball stealing dog?" "I am Millie, but I don't steal tennis balls." "A likely story," the German shepherd growled again, this time showing his teeth. "Her story is true, sir," I said. "I did throw that ball to her." "Sorry," he growled again. "We have orders to look out for Millie. She has a bad reputation." "Don't worry, Dad," Millie said. "I can handle this. I'm a lawyer now." 2 days later, Millie was brought by the German shepherd to the judge, a quick-witted miniature schnauzer with a long beard and a squeaky voice. Millie was not scared. "Well," the judge said in his high-pitched bark. It was really more like, "Well," the judge said in his high-pitched bark. "Did you steal the tennis ball or did you not?" "I did not," said Millie firmly. "Well, tell me your side of the story then," said the judge. "I have frequently been accused, Your Honor, in the complete absence of proof, of stealing tennis balls. Some dogs spread that rumor. So do some people. But I do not steal. To steal is to take something that does not belong to you. I have never done that, and I never will. Each and every tennis ball that I own is mine and mine alone, and I shall prove that to you right now. First, let me admit that I do adore tennis balls, the real ones that are white and fuzzy and fit neatly into my mouth. The fuzziness tickles my tongue when I chomp on them. It is such a happy sensation. Have you ever tried it, Your Honor? Do so. You will then know what I mean. Even better are the orange rubbery ones that have the feel of uncooked chicken, which I love. They have no taste at all, but the sensation on the tongue is heavenly. This type of ball is not actually used to play tennis, you see. It was invented to be given to dog tennis ball lovers like me. I collect both sides, Your Honor, and I am proud to say that in my collection today, there are more than 50, perhaps 40 of the first kind, and 10 of the second. You may wonder how I obtained them. I shall tell you, sir. Most of them were thrown to me. I found the rest. And how were they thrown? The judge asked. Well, somebody threw them. It was usually my dad, Captain Bob. That's me. He has a pink plastic stick with a place for a ball at the end of it. He puts the ball there, reaches back, and gives it a heave. The ball flies through the air and lands way far away. I leap after it, and I'm usually able to grab it in the air on just one bounce. Then I chomp on it. Sometimes I like to tease my dad. I bring the ball to him and drop it at his feet. He reaches down to grab it, intending to heave it away again, but just as his hand is about to touch it, I snag it with my teeth and dance away. Later, I add the ball to my collection. I do not do this to annoy the good captain, but because it's so funny. Cracks me up every time. Dad looks annoyed, but is usually able to take the joke pretty well, right, Millie? Yep. Do you enjoy this game? The Schnauzer wanted to know. Oh, yes, sir, it is great fun. I absolutely love the game. Love it, love it, love it. And what do you call this game of yours? The judge asked, peering over his glasses. Tennis, Your Honor. It is my favorite game. I don't like to boast, sir, but I am a star. Anyway, that is how the tennis balls got to be mine. They are gifts, you see, sir. But, said the judge, doesn't Captain Bob, your dad, that's me, expect that you will return the ball to him when you are done chomping on it? No, sir. It's the same with bones. When a beef bone is thrown to me, I naturally assume that it is mine to chomp on as long as I wish. It would not enter my mind that it might belong to someone else. Well, how could it, sir? A badly brought up dog may attempt to steal it from me, but my fearsome growl. Can you growl, Millie? She goes, growl, but she doesn't ever bite anybody. My fearsome growl usually puts an end to any such nonsense. In conclusion, I say if a ball is thrown to someone, a dog or a person, it becomes a gift, fair and square. It is then his or hers to chomp upon. That is how the world works, Your Honor. Therefore, it should be clear that I am a good dog. Some say a very good dog. You argued your case very well, the judge said. You are obviously a very smart young animal. Indeed, I believe that you are a very honest dog. I conclude that you are innocent. You do not steal tennis balls. Well, thank you, Your Honor. I argued well because I am a lawyer, Millie explained. Case dismissed. You may go home now. When we returned home, I said, but Millie, you actually do steal tennis balls. Everybody knows it. And what's more, you don't actually play tennis. You play your own goofy game according to your own goofy rules. Grrr, said Millie. But hey, Dad, it's time for our afternoon walk. Let's get out of here. Oh, Dad, Millie said as we headed out the door. Yes, Millie. Don't forget to bring along my tennis ball collection. And that is the end of the story, and that is the story of Millie, an ordinary black Labradoodle who was accused of stealing tennis balls, but actually she thought she was playing tennis, but it was her own version of the game tennis, which wasn't what you and I played. Thank you all, and if anybody wants to come on this show or has any questions at all, wants to bring their dog on the show or would like to talk with me or to Millie or whatever, you can send us an email. That's the best way to do it. And we will answer your email, and it will be great to hear from you. Thank you very much. Glad you saw the show. I hope you are glad as well. Goodbye.